Hello, everyone, and welcome to this roundtable about generative AI and universities, how it will impact on the training and competences needed to become a lawyer, organized by Global Legal Tech Hub. My name is Eugenia Navarro, and I am the director of the programs Legaltech and Legal Ops at ESADE, and today I will be your moderator. We are in one of the most challenging and changing times in the legal sector, with major paradigm shift, change in purchasing habits, search for efficiency, empowerment of the buyer, and especially the impact of technology. But how do we train our young people to be lawyers? We need to evolve the way that we educate them. A lawyer navigating complex landscapes where the emergence of the generative artificial intelligence is recently taking place. In my opinion, this can have a strong impact on the way we train young people. Law schools are crossroads. They are preparing aspiring lawyers for a future where generative AI will play a major role, but it's not yet clear how exactly this technology will transform the legal profession. But we need to be prepared and acquire the right competences to adapt. In response to this evolving landscape, law schools are taking proactive steps. They are crafting innovative curricula and embracing novel teaching methodologies designed to equip students for a world where AI will be a great impact. Some have even begun talking about creating supporting environments for students who are struggling to adapt to the rise of the AI. To shed light on these critical developments, our panel will delve in some burning questions. How can law schools best equip students for a future where generative AI is deeply integrated into legal practice? What strategies can law schools employ to strike a balance between harnessing the potential advantage of generative AI and mitigating associated risks? How can law schools empower students to cultivate essential critical thinking and problem solving skills required in a AI dominated world? In short, how will impact on the profile of the next generation lawyers? Our distinguished panelists bring expertise spanning various domains, encompassing law, education, psychology, behavioral design, and legal ops. Esperanza Ferrando, good morning. How are you? She's the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Business and Political Science at Cardenal Herrera University. Marisa Méndez is a psychotherapist and expert in the emotional well-being within the legal market and professor of marketing, business development, and social responsibility at Yale Law Business School. And lastly, Jose María de Lara is a legal operations consultant, is a senior consultant at LOIS. He has a degree in law by Pontificia Universidad Católica of Peru and LLM by Columbia Law School, and he has a very international view of the profession. Shall we begin? Esperanza, the most recent challenge for universities and law schools has been to decide what actions they are going to take regarding the use of generative AI in classes. So, have decided to forbid its use. So, others are trying to incorporate it into their curricula. What is your opinion on this?
Thank you. Well, in my opinion, it's pointless to forbid the use of AI. It's clear that everyone is using it, and therefore, what is necessary is that students know how to use it, its pros and cons, and its risk. It's one more tool that we'll need, and it's important that they know how to obtain the greatest benefits from it while respecting ethical limits. Furthermore, there are many arguments in favor of incorporating generative AI to the curricula. On one hand, students will be faced with AI in their professional lives, and incorporating generative AI into the curricula can help them develop the necessary skills to succeed in a technological driven world. On the other hand, generative AI automates many tasks associated with legal research, and writing, which can save time but increase productivity for students. But of course, I think we should teach that there are many cons, like reliability and accuracy concerns. It's well known that in its current form, generative AI may not be a reliable legal tool, and there are concerns about the accuracy, the validity of research conducting using these tools. And also, the use of generative AI raises ethical and legal questions, potential for bias in AI algorithms, the responsibility of users in the ethical use, and so on. In our case, in our faculty, each lecturer is free to choose whether or not allow the use of AI, but I'm sure none has prohibited it. In some practical sessions, it's used from a double perspective to make students understand the answer are not 100% reliable, and for students to develop critical thinking skills. For example, one exercise consisted of asking ChatGPT to solve the case study, and the student solving the case with their own arguments and detecting ChatGPT's mistakes. And the truth is that they are quite impressed to see how, in most of the cases, they know more and better than the tool.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Esperanza. I think it's very interesting to give the students critical thinking about how to create their own opinion about this tool. Josema, uh, like any technology, the excessive use of generative AI may have certain consequences at the cognitive level and development of young professionals. Can you tell us a little about the cognitive impact and how it could affect the career of young professionals in medium long term?
Certainly. So there definitely will be cognitive consequence. So, for example, we will see less engagement in critical thinking and problem solving, lack
Mhm.
of depth in reasoning, and less creativity. But I will say this is not new. Every technology has consequences. So, for example, today teenagers can't remember how they arrived to a location at a location. They rely on Google Maps, and if you take that away from them, they really struggle. And something happened similar happened, for example, with the calculators. And in a really cool study by Mao, he showed that the more extensive the use of calculators during childhood, then the lower the scores were in college in mathematical classes. So
Mhm.
in the end, I believe this is the price we have to pay as a society because we're trying to work towards closing the gap between humans and computers. And I understand that, and I have even made my peace with that. But having said that, I'm not totally happy about that, Eugenia, I must confess. I agree with a journalist, Simon Lucen, when he says that students will lose something profoundly important. So that is intellectual independence. As a student, I remember challenging the ideas of lawyers and scholars, either contemporary or before me, gave me tremendous joy. And it acted sort of as a fuel to keep me going, as a fuel to my education and to my work. The thing is that humans don't really receive the same spark or the same motivation, the same spark of energy if the product is provided by AI. We're wired to perceive value in terms of how much work we're investing in order to produce something. This is called something called the IKEA effect. So just like an IKEA table, the one who builds it sees the furniture as really beautiful, while the visitors who didn't build it might detect crooked balls or misaligned wood pieces. So in some, I would say, generative AI, ChatGPT, BART, so on, is like a high-speed train. It gets you to your destination super, super fast, but you miss out on the scenic route and local flavors you'd experience on a slower, more deliberate journey.
Mhm. Thank you, Josema. Marisa, the use of generative AI makes content creation easier. Some say that the results are mediocre because LLMs are configured to look for the common denominator, avoiding the extreme of or innovating side of things. They say that if we accept content written by AI, we will be embracing mediocrity. What do you think about this? How do you think AI generate content impacts lawyers' reputation and brand? I know is a quite complicated question.
Yes, I was just telling you that there are many questions in one. It's a complex question, but I think that we all agree. I mean, that AI is here, as many other technologies, as Josema was saying, to make a part of our lives, a part of our work easier, quicker, and even more efficient. Okay, but the criticism is right. I mean, lawyers need to be gentle while using that to make sure it doesn't not only affect the reputation of the brand, but also the quality of the product they're delivering. So I think there are many things here, and I think we should warn students about it. And even when we are asking them to do some work, it's not only about telling ChatGPT to do it. I mean, there's many things that they have to do before. So to ensure there is that the final product is the product that represents the quality of the service we are offering. So in this sense, I will emphasize for many things. First, human oversight. I think we, and I'm linking this to universities, but it's the same because I think this is like the obviously is the playground of law firms. So first, human oversights. They need to be aware that in order to keep this brand, in order to keep the quality of the product, they have to oversight before, during, and after the participation of artificial intelligence. No, I say it as the co-pilot. So you don't get the co-pilot driving your car. It's like, you're a co-pilot, and I will need you for this, and for that. And if you're not doing your work, I will tell you, hey, help me. And again, at the end, I think it's a good opportunity to reevaluate how did it work. Secondly, something that we've seen in the past, the complexity of the matters. Again, boilerplate, high complex work, and that kind of work in the medium. So dependent of the complexity of the work, we need to determine, to agree, to really oversight when AI is used in order to make sure that things are happening. Definitely something that Josema just said, originality, creativity. I mean, AI and any technology won't be, for now, able to replace the way we think and things that happen without any, I don't know, some line of thought that we could prevent at the beginning, okay? And in order to get that, we need lawyers, we need our students, we need the teams to be aware of their emotions, be aware of their levels of stress. Only when your level of stress are tolerable, then you can create something original and you can apply the best of critical thinking. So yes, definitely, it's an issue, and it's something that we as professors need to start warning our students from the very first day they get into our rooms, into our classrooms.
I don't see you very optimistic on the use of AI, but I think probably they can free up time to concentrate or to decrease the stress level and to concentrate in complex and to solve complex problems. No, that I think that could be something good from this technology. Esperanza. So relating relating with that, what it has been discussed for years whether lawyers should learn programming code or not. Looking at what is happening with LLMs and right now, how does that discussion change today? Do lawyers really learn how to write code? What is your opinion on that?
Uh, although I don't believe that lawyers need to learn coding or programming. It's necessary for them to know and understand the technology behind the new technological advance because of their legal implications. It's known the use of LLMs in the legal field has been transforming legal research and analysis. They can assist lawyers in drafting documents and briefs, researching and analyzing case law, or even studying competitors and potential clients. It can be a useful tool for lawyers, always being aware that LLMs have significant issues related to misinformation, algorithmic bias, privacy, and that could pose risk in the context of legal work. But I think the emergence of LLMs doesn't necessarily change the discussion around whether lawyers should learn programming code. I think what is necessary is that jurists and CTOs must learn to work together. The former must know what they can ask to the engineers, and they must interpret the request of the jurist. This is for instance, in the workshop we made in the university, we are trying to the students getting to know and learning to use non-code tools, for example, for the automation of contract. I don't think it's a need for lawyers.
Mm-hmm. Josema, what is your opinion on that?
Well, I totally agree with Esperanza, and actually quite refreshing to hear that from a university representative. I really don't think lawyers need to learn how to code. I even thought so before ChatGPT, when we were discussing, as Esperanza said, low code and no code tools. And now it is even more clear to me, learning to code has a high opportunity cost. So, and besides, programmers right now are at a huge risks of being displaced. Even OpenAI, the company of ChatGPT, is considering replacing some of their programmers with AI. So I completely understand when that lawyers that already learned how to code may feel it is a critical skill.
Okay. Do you think in the United States, because you know very well this country, do you think
Yeah.
there is any kind of trend that teaching code to the lawyers?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of interdisciplinarity in the States. And also, I believe in American education, when you compare it, especially with Latin American education, is better prepared for the future because of the Socratic method. So the Socratic method teaches students to be like performing critical thinking, and that's something that is going to be really valued in the future.
Mhm. I think this is a critical point, no? To teach not just knowledge, and to teaching competences and skills. And I think this is something that is very aligned with the technology. No, you need to develop the criteria, the thinking, the critical thinking of the students.
Yeah.
Marisa, as an expert in emotional well-being, in the legal market, you are in direct contact with the effective reaction of lawyers. Can you tell us a little about what are witnessing? Do you notice any difference between the reactions of partners, associates, as the interns, students, and how everyone is facing, if there is any difference? I think yes. The challenges of adapting the generative AI.
Well, what I'm witnessing is that AI is definitely making an impact, but it varies from person to person, not really linked to their job position. So I come across students, associates, or partners who are really willing to embrace it and see it as a high opportunity to focus on only meaningful work and can even foresee opportunities of including AI in their work and in their future projects. But on the other hand, I also come across students, associates, and partners who are extremely concerned of the impact that it may have in their present or in the future work. So for me, the answer is much more about dealing with something new, completely new, something that is unpredictable, something with uncertainty. And these two factors directly affects stress management. And so some people will become overwhelmed, some people become really seeing that opportunity, and in the middle, we have different reactions. And again, if we take these two universities, I think that this is the opportunity to finally incorporate in the curricula everything regarding health and performance. I mean, we at IE, we have this program, Shell, Skills for the Healthy and Effective Lawyers. That will be, I've been the teacher for years. And I can see, I mean, the higher the challenge is, the more importance that taking concern and taking care of our health is. Because only there, as I was saying before, only when we are really feeling sufficiently stable, what I say, walking even on an uneven ground, is when you can first evaluate this as a threat or as a challenge. We humans do that when anything brand new comes to us. Surprise and curiosity are there, but it can be swift to fear immediately because of two different evaluations we do. First, how big this threat is, and if it's beyond our capabilities, the second evaluation, which is, okay, which resources I do have that I'm going to use to face this situation, will not be in place. So I think that it's an opportunity not only for universities, also for law firms, in-house departments, really helping to this, to this minimize, I'm saying it right, to minorize, to make it more adaptable, to be more adaptive to these changes by helping people to be, to have the knowledge, to have the skills, even to experiment, i.e., and to count on different resources to do and to deal with that fear. So I think that would be my answer
Thank you.
to this question.
Don't you think, and it's a question for all of you, don't you think that probably the use of technology is making the law firms evolve to liquid structures instead of very hierarchical structures, because the technical skills, the AI skills are in the young people, no? And it's very difficult to manage a team where the young people is who has the skills, and probably that has that will have an impact to change this pyramid model to more liquid. What is your opinion on that, Josema?
Yeah, I'm glad to take that. So I agree with you totally. So it is the young professionals who have the knowledge right now, the technology knowledge, and we're not just saying that. I mean, when you look at the data, for example, from OpenAI, it actually shows you that junior professionals are the ones who are using, for example, ChatGPT more. It could be for many reasons. Senior professionals are busier. Maybe some of them don't believe it will affect their careers, or simply because some of them, I think, have a technological gap. The question for me, Eugenia, is will they hire or try to hire somebody to automate these tasks, or will they have confidence in young professionals and try to get them develop products for the law firm? I think my answer lies on the second one, and it's also cheaper, in my opinion. Just getting an intern, a young professional, getting him or her on board on the in the law firm, and keeping them with the right skills. I believe for that, the young professionals could find a lot of opportunities. And at the same time, some of them will be able to become entrepreneurs and have different career paths.
Yeah, it's true that the legal ecosystem is becoming more rich, no, with more opportunities in the market. But we need to train our young people to make profit of this new opportunity. Esperanza, it has been. How does the success of law students impact the design of the university curricula? Sorry, are you thinking in the future professionals? What skills are going to be reinforced, and what new subjects are going to be taught? Um, and it's true. What skills are no longer going to be as important as they were 5 years ago? No, there is a movement, no, according to the profession. What's going on in the profession?
I think to ensure that students are well prepared for their future careers, we, the universities, may reinforce the skills for academic success, not only succeed in law schools, but afterwards in the bar exam and in the legal future practice. And this should include programs and courses that help students to develop the critical thinking, problem solving, and research skills. To bridge the gap between theory and practice, universities may offer more opportunities to students to gain practical experience through placements or clinics or simulations, and they should develop the skills needed for real world in legal work. And obviously, you have all said, we need to emphasize the importance of technology and the so-called 21st century skills in their curricula. They can include teaching students how to use legal research tools, analyze data, and communicate effectively in a digital environment.
Mhm.
In terms of the skills that are no longer as important as they were 5 years ago, we can include manual legal research, for instance, with the availability of online legal research. The ability to conduct manual legal research may be less important than it was in the past. And also with traditional legal writing, of course, legal writing skills are very important, but the rise of technology and the use of AI in legal research and writing may require students to adapt their writing styles to be more concise and more persuasive in a digital environment. And finally, we might think that also that memorization is also no longer important. But at least in Spain, as long as access to public professions, judges, notaries, registers, and so on, are based on a civil services exam system based on learning topics by heart, we will have to continue teaching our students how to memorize. Uh, Notwithstanding the fact that the basics of law must continue to be learned in the classroom, what can be done is to enrich, you have said also before, to enrich the curriculum with the most innovative subjects related to the intersection between law and technology. For instance, at my university, we have been doing for this is the third year, introducing more specific sessions related to new technologies in the so-called traditional subjects. We look at topics such as digital personality, the criminal liability of robots, deep fakes, digital inheritance, and many more.
Mhm. What about Roman law?
We keep with the Roman law. I think it's a good basis.
Well, Marisa,
Mhm.
one of the areas which the use of AI is increasingly being used in psychological therapy. On one hand, chatbots are supposed to help close the gap in access to the mental health resources, while on the other is criticized that they do not provide the same level of service as human therapists. With interns and junior associates anxious about their future work, do you see a mental health crisis brewing in the legal profession in the coming years?
Well, Good question, because I think it's something that is not only affecting the legal profession. I think it's something that we are dealing with, and especially when we look at the youngers and childs and teenagers. So definitely things are changing. And it's not only AI, it's also we're coming from COVID, we're coming from different crises. I mean, we are having these shifts in our lives year after year. So, but definitely there's something that we cannot miss, that the legal profession is really demanding. It's really demanding because the long working hours, because of the client's impact that the different issues have on them, all the pressure in billing hours, not to say the delays in courts. So definitely something that we cannot miss. And I mean, I'm repeating myself, but I've been saying this for many years. I mean, we cannot wait till someone collapses before providing that person and that environment with the normal natural resources to deal with this. So definitely is something that we need to be aware of, something that we can do from school, even secondary school, helping people to deal better with stress, identifying the signs in their body, something that I really get shocked. I mean, when I get people that saying, oh no, I've been having this reaction on my body for 20 years now. So we need to help people to be connected with their body, to be connected with reality. And it's something that we need to address at law firms. And yes, all the chat box, all the tools that we're getting in psychotherapy help us to close the gap, because it's easier to identify the symptoms. It's easier to get resources to deal with a specific symptoms, but it's something that we need to address. Definitely, yes. Specific tools and specific staff for specific needs in the legal industry.
Do you think the AI will increase the level of anxious in the young people? Do you think we have to include in the universities something to help them to face the challenges of this new era in the legal sector?
I mean, when something is uncertain, when we feel we cannot have control over it, it definitely get us anxious. So the best way is to really be able to touch, be able to experiment. What is that? Receive information about the benefits, the limitations, the risk. I mean, the most informed we are with everything. I'm just going back to COVID. I mean, at the beginning, we were really stressed. I remember myself doing crazy things, cleaning everything and getting scared by going out to the street. But while I was getting more information about when I should be focusing my worries, where I should get more quiet and more ease. So it's definitely the same. It's definitely the same. And going back to what Esperanza was saying about reviewing their curricula, I think we need to review the curricula. We need to really make a real approach to review what needs to be there, what needs to be replaced, and what needs to be teach or focused from a different perspective. I mean, because otherwise we're keeping our people where they're going out the universities without the relevant information and relevant resources. And that makes them weak, and that could make them anxious and vulnerable.
Probably we need to adapt the curricula to the profession. No, I think it's quite different to become a lawyer and to be a professional in the legal sector now, and that means to include technology, of course, but probably some topics regarding mental health, no, or to help them to be strong in front of this uncertain world, no, that they are facing every day. So, Josema, I think one of the most tasks of the young professionals learn when they get in a law firm is to investigate. No, how does generative AI impact this skill in day-to-day activities of interns and juniors associates? Do you think you told us before that is something that do you think that they should do? But what is your opinion that would generate a new career path for young people when they start in a law firm?
Well, it's a really good question. I believe Mata versus Avianca already showed us that ChatGPT is not a good tool when factual accuracy is required, but that doesn't mean it won't improve. Especially, I believe, when law firms start building their own models, which some of them have already done. And in the near future, I believe using tools like ChatGPT will become the standard, even for conducting research to investigate. So this, as Esperanza said before, means that the market won't place so much value in some of the competencies or skills such as concept memorization or the ability to write a basic essay. What I believe will be most critical is knowing how to prime the system to craft a good prompt and to polish it,
Yeah.
to connect ChatGPT to other systems through plugins or APIs. So, for example, if you're not using BoxScript right now, your ChatGPT is still stuck in September 2021. So that's not good. And know how to train chats. And lastly, and most importantly, there will be a huge demand for professionals that are able to discern between good information from bad information. So digital literacy. And I believe that is something that universities could work on as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. In fact, now Harvey, which is based on generative AI, is a specific, and it was born for the legal sector. No, and one of the key points is they have a very structured document from a law firm, and I think this is something that, in my opinion, will change the way that we are going to deliver legal services from now on. Well, just my last question. We have to talk about that. No, in terms of hiring, is a question for all of you. Probably we start with Esperanza. Do you think that the hiring of young people will decrease? But at the same time, there are new opportunities arising. No, we will see entrepreneurs in the legal sector and creating new type of models.
Well, I don't think that young lawyers will no longer be recruited, but that the tasks they will perform or the roles they will occupy may be different. Instead of doing menial tasks as before, they will be working on supervising the work of automation tools or training new algorithms. So they will have to be familiar with them right out of the university. In addition, knowledge of legal tech tools and the easiness with which young people move in these digital environments, as opposed to senior lawyers, most senior lawyers, means that these young people continue to be indispensable, I think, in terms of recruitment in law firms. If hiring is decreasing, I think it may be due to reasons other than technology. For example, because the legal profession is experiencing a lack of job satisfaction for the practitioners while working in law firms. Marisa had said that maybe due to the systemic strains in the legal profession. Um, and it's true that we may see more entrepreneurs in the legal sector with new types of models, maybe due to several factors. Young lawyers may seek the path of entrepreneurship because they want to start their own businesses where they can align their work with their personal values, or because they are looking for social conscious entrepreneurship pursuits and companies aligned with purpose-driven mission, or only because the advancement in legal tech and legal design allow entrepreneurs to innovate and create new models that better serve client needs, I think.
Thank you, Esperanza. Marisa, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I see students with an increased interest in entrepreneurship, definitely. I see this is easier than before. But I think it will be a mistake. I mean, I will be sad if we will be repeating mistakes from the past when the ABS and the LPOs appear and law firms were not quick enough to retain the talent, to keep the talent, and to provide an environment where they can promote intrapreneurship. So I think that will be something very interesting, especially because instead of doing lots of different small things and growing, just doing things in a really irrelevant way. So I would like to see that, but I don't know what's going to happen because I think that will mean a very strategic approach from the current leaders and being aware definitely of the change that this is and the opportunities this is offering. And in the other hand, I would love to see an increase in the collaboration between law firms, in-house departments, and universities. I mean, something is not just, I prepare them, they're yours, but hi, we need to refresh this and it's more costly, it's more expensive, it will take more time if I do it by myself. Let's do something, let's create this collaborative environment. So I don't know if this is what's going to happen, but is what I would like to happen and to learn from previous mistakes.
You mentioned something very interesting because sometimes the schools, the law schools are generating people for law firms, but now there is a plenty of new opportunities in legal departments as in-house lawyers, but also in legal techs, editorials, and there is many other opportunities in terms of startups that we have to train too for those new professions in the legal sector. And I think this is a challenge for universities, of course. Josema, what's your opinion on that?
I said it before. I think, like, quite the contrary, young professionals will have a strong position in the market, and especially, just to add on that, the ones who have digital literacy. So just to reflect like 1 minute on that to show how important digital literacy is. Let's remember what happened with the whole fake news movement and how our parents and grandparents believed everything that they were seeing on WhatsApp groups and believed all those fake news. Something like that will happen with generative AI. We are wired as human beings to believe everything that a robot tells us. There's a lot of research on that. For example, there's one from Lacour, who it's a really cool study where he programmed a calculator to actually lie and give false results to students. And only 21% of students show some suspicion about the lie. So we're wired to believe the lies. So the young professionals that are actually capable of discerning good AI information from bad AI information will have a very, very strong position in the market.
Okay, thank you very much. We are finalizing our roundtable, but before we finish, please mention just only 2 key skills, knowledge, or competences that according to the EA generative, the universities need to add to the curriculum. Just to, we start with Esperanza.
I would say the first one would be that students, they should be trained in legal tech and tech for law, and also they need to develop soft skills. We have talked about that, such as communication, collaboration, creating work-life balance, and emotional intelligence. This be will be critical in building relationships with clients, colleagues, and other stakeholders.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marisa, your turn.
Okay, going to my domain. So I will go for incorporating the science of well-being for two things. Increase capabilities and coping strategies to deal with uncertainty and to be able to embrace it instead of running away from that. And secondly, to include in curricula as well emotional intelligence to increase our levels of tolerance to emotions and to threats and to all the different things that happen in life. And that will help lawyers to have a more creativity approach, to increase their critical thinking by incorporating all the things that happen when someone faces a piece of work, from being quiet and confident and sufficiently confident of their capabilities to do it.
Thank you. Josema.
I will just keep it to one: information literacy workshops, like helping students managing all this information overload and help them differentiate between bad information and good information. That is critical for me.
Josema, thank you. It's a very great point. So, in fact, you are mentioning both, no? Just to have tools to manage the AI, the generative AI, and also the emotional part of assuming this technology. Thank you very much for your time. It has been very, very interesting. And thank you very much for the audience, for your attention. And of course, thank you to the Global Legaltech Hub for organizing such roundtables. That is, I think, is very good to reflect and debate about the future of the legal profession. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.